Samuel Levinson says you must learn from the mistakes of others. You cannot possibly live long enough to make them all yourself. So here are some of the stupidest business mistakes that we've made in building and scaling our online coaching company, Propane Fitness. And we want to save you making those mistakes yourself. I've got an admission for you, and that is that you're paying for our program either way. You're just either paying for it with money or with time. So
it's awful, that, isn't it? That thought.
It is.
Well, not from our perspective, like the program's fantastic, but if you choose to pay with time, awful.
Because it was years. The mistakes we're going to cover are 14 years of just ramming our heads against different walls until we manage to run through the door. And as they say, the best teacher is your last mistake.
The thing I find most uncomfortable when I'm discussing propane business with someone is when they say, look, the program sounds great. I think I can do this on my own. And there is nothing I can say at that point to change that person's mind, because that's what they believe that. And I think like there's a chance that they will. Well, they will figure it out on their own. As you say, it is the only variable in that equation is days and months and years of time. But it's how to communicate that. Because we still spent 14 years figuring stuff out. Like, how many years into that did we pay for?
Trying to get to the answer. It's not like we were
desperately.
Yeah.
But at what point did we pay for coaching? Probably like 6 years in to that 14 years.
And it helped.
Just arrogance of the first 6, thinking like, yeah, we'll figure this out. How hard can it be?
Yeah. So
mistake number 1.
There's a long list. Strap in, guys. So mistake number 1 was we tried to sell coaching as a single package, starting off at £7.99 and then moving it all the way up to over £1,000. But it was this idea that coaching is like a one and done thing. And all it did was mean that you find a customer, you find a lead, or several hundred of them, and a certain percentage buy. And then at the end of the program, you go, well, do you want to buy it again? And they go, no. You go, okay, well, bye.
Not yet, bye then.
Trying to find a new client.
Yeah. I think it's because at the time we felt like, well, we've only got this much to give. Like, once I've taught somebody, this is protein, this is carbs, fat, this is a barbell, and you do this with the barbell. Like, well, they know it all now. And you kind of think, I think at the beginning you assume that like coaching is just sort of teaching someone everything you've learned from like watching all the videos and reading all the articles, and like they don't know that yet. So once I teach them, that's it. They paid for the service. But like the fact that you and I still have coaches now, I think like realizing that actually like it's very feasible for someone to work with you for years. And in our case, like we have a couple of clients who've literally been with us since Cade, because we decided to charge monthly.
You're right. Like we misunderstood the value of coaching, because as you say, we thought it was just like information. Like, we've learned this, okay, here's the information, bye. Whereas there's 3 pillars of coaching that we see it, which is information, accountability, and objectivity. And really the last 2 are probably the reasons that Johnny and I hire fitness coaches at the moment. We have coaches in most domains of our life to try and accelerate our learning process, because we realize that trying to do it on your own just takes far too long, and that's more expensive to me, is spending the time. And depending on how new of a skill it is to you, that determines whether you're really hiring a coach more to learn, or more for accountability, or more to stop you from making wacky decisions yourself, the objectivity.
Yeah, I think that it's so, everybody hears, like I remember hearing that, like, oh, money's more expensive, like time's more scarce than money, and you're like, yeah, bollocks. Like, it's easy to say when you've got the money or you don't have the money and you've got time to spend. But I think it's the contrast of, or it's trying to really realize that if you launch something correctly, like if you spend some money on something and it works, you will get that money back. That's the nice thing about that. How relaxing is that to know that, right? You'll get that money back and some more money, and then you can put that money back into the thing, and then you get even more money. It doesn't happen like that with time, though, unfortunately. At least the last time I checked. Like, you just linearly spend your time until you have no more of it. And if you misallocate that, that's it.
Well,
It's gone.
It's even better because when you have money, you can buy time. So,
I think so. Alex Hormozy described money as stored time, and I've never heard it like that before. But it's a really so the example that I've mentioned to Yusuf at the start of this video that he uses in one of his videos, and his content's great, by the way, is this idea of like you can buy a light bulb and plug it in and turn it on, and then there's light in your room, and you're like, fantastic, fix that problem. But for years that didn't exist, and somebody invested. I don't even know who it is. Thomas Edison.
so apparently there was two people that invented it, and I think Thomas Edison got the credit.
He pinched it.
The light bulb or the telephone, where two people, Alexander Graham Bell, I think, two people designed it at the same time in different parts of the world, having not communicated. And one of them was a gentleman and was like, do you know what? You have that one.
He put his life into that, and now you've just got that solution. So like, you can use some of your money to access all of that time instantly, and like you can just buy solutions to problems. You can learn something far quicker, or you can devote your life to trying to figure it out yourself. And I think it's really, sometimes I speak to people and you can tell that's like that penny's dropped with them, and they just want access to the, I don't want to do this for 10 years on my own. And some people, it hasn't quite occurred to them yet. I think once that's occurred to you, you can never look back. You can never go back to the other side.
It's why I'm so excited about a non-fiction book, because if I find a book that solves a problem which I'm trying to solve, and it happens to be an author who's dedicated their life to solving that problem, like, oh my god, that's a lifetime of lessons and wisdom just sorted for you.
And I think that is it, though, isn't it? It's accelerating. Like, it took them 2 years to figure something out, and you can figure that thing out now. What a saving. It's even more obvious with like learning ads management, Facebook ads, YouTube ads, all these things, because I'll ask someone a question, like one of our coaches a question, I'm like, what should I do with this? And he'll give me an answer that's the result of 500,000 in testing, so that I don't have to do the 500,000 in testing. Fantastic. And then you're like, well, how much is a program? Like, even if the program costs 50 grand, what a saving. But it's so hard to look at it like that. But anyway, we've only done one mistake. So the first one was selling coaching as a single package, rather than having like this recurring relationship with our clients, realizing that actually we're not selling them information, we're selling objectivity, accountability, being this source of like regular help and advice for them throughout their journey and beyond the initial result they paid us for. Second one's trying to scale our one-to-one coaching. So Propane Fitness started as the two of us. Well, there's actually 3 in the beginning. We all had one-to-one clients. It was over email. We sent them like a PDF, and then we coached them over email.
Oh, it's a real traumatic memory, you know.
Awful, isn't it?
Yeah.
And it was like, so my memory of it was getting in from work. So finish my like job as an accountant, get home, close like one laptop, and then open another one, and open the email account, open my like Apple Mail, and I'd have all my clients in folders down the left. And it would I'd just have like 30 check-ins on a Monday, and I would be up until 2 or 3 in the morning replying to those check-ins. And then you open a check-in and it's like 1,000 words.
And we've got a long digital footprint of that. If you scroll back through our YouTube channel, I mean, you won't be able to see it because they're all unlisted videos or private videos, but just loads of videos of Johnny and I, 10 to 20 minutes long, just looking like that, talking to the camera.
Responding to people.
Hey Josh, thanks for your check-in. So it looks like your squats are going well this week, and it was a real time.
And it's like, and so we're like trying to do this while like trying to also like build the business up enough so that we could live off it charging, at the time, we were probably charging like £80, 60 to £80 per client. I remember being buzzing when a client signed up for 60 quid and then realizing like we have to now go and like I have to send them the check-in for the setup form, and then I have to write them the program, and then there'll be a one-to-one call. And then I can remember doing some one-to-one calls with people who signed up like while I was on holiday, and I would get the PayPal notification and I'd be like, oh God, and I have to do a one-to-one call with them while I was on holiday. So we tried to scale that by hiring other people. So we hired other people, and then we're like, well, we've got all these inquiries for one-to-one coaching. We need to give them to someone else. But the economics of that was just never going to work, because we're like, well, we have to make some money still. Otherwise, it's not really a business. So we'd say, well, like, we'll give you 50%, 60%. But then from their perspective, like, why would they do that? They would just say to the client, like, hey, I'll work with you for like £10 more than what I get paid, but 30 quid less than what Johnny and Yusuf are charging.
Yeah. And ironically, the 50% that we receive, we have to pay costs and tax out of that. So
yeah, I mean, that was before we were VAT registered. But if you like, you do that with a VAT registered business, like you lose 20% as soon as the money comes in the door, and you pay corp tax on the profit. So you're at the point where like you're just a busy fool, a really busy fool, where there's all this stuff happening, all these clients, all these emails, all this fulfillment, and the stuff that's left over at the end of the day is hardly anything.
So don't do that. Mistake number 3,
which I think came off the back of mistake number 2.
Yeah, it did, was saying, okay, coaching's not the one. Coaching is exchanging time for money, but you can sell PDFs online for £7. So we're going to get rich selling £7 ebooks. So that was the next step. So we went into the bunkers and we spent months writing. Johnny wrote a fat loss ebook. I wrote a muscle gain one.
They're still for sale. Still buying.
Still for sale. And to be fair, I wouldn't chalk this up fully as a mistake, because, like, yes, it didn't exactly pay the bills outright, but they're still selling now, and they're still pretty good.
I think it's almost at the point, which it blows my mind. We're almost at the point where it's quite rare that a day goes by where we don't sell a couple of copies, which is bonkers, really. But I think the thing, it's the most stressed I've ever seen Yusuf was in the launch. We're sat in David Lloyd Cafe, launch week, and we were trying to make sales pages for these products. We were trying to set up the delivery, which, like, I know it may sound odd, but trying to get somebody a PDF after they bought it on the internet is not as simple as you'd think.
Especially in like 2014 or something.
Yeah.
Really difficult.
So it was like, should we use Dropbox? No, we can't do that. That's silly. Should we put it on Google Drive? No, that's not sustainable.
I think we tried Dropbox, and then we got our account blocked. So
too many downloads.
Because there was too many clicks on the link.
So we did like a pre-launch. We pre-sold it. We sold quite a few, but I think, like, you know, imagine pointing all of your marketing efforts to something, hanging all your hopes on it. I think we made like a couple of grand in a weekend for the launch of both of them, which might sound great listening to that, but that was that we were hoping, like, this is the end of one-to-one coaching. Like, this is what the business is gonna, and that was our email list, our social media. That was everything we could muster. That
was us really blowing our load, having like built a big audience of, up to that point as well. But so next mistake was, after we were like, okay, ebooks isn't the one, coaching isn't the one, we need to do some kind of scaled group coaching program with a members area.
There was a step in between that, which is a mistake just down the list, which I think fits in nicely here, which was, we were like, I know. People don't want to do, we can't do one-to-one coaching. We can't outsource one-to-one coaching. People don't want a PDF. They still want to work with us somehow. Why don't we do live webinars and workshops, and we'll charge for it? So we did 2 of them. One was on powerlifting. Do you remember that?
I do.
This was when you were mid-medical degree. I drove to Stockton one evening. We had like 8 people who'd paid a tenner.
$12.99.
Was it $12.99? And we presented this like 3-hour thing on powerlifting, and made the slides, did a Q&A, thought like it's all right because we're going to be able to sell a recording, and everyone's going to want the recording, even though only 8 people wanted to attend live. And I don't think we sold a single recording.
No.
Tried to do it again with a habits webinar. This time and we were doing it around the end of the year because we're like, well, everyone wants to form habits in New Year. We sold 2 of them, one to a competitor, one to an existing client, and we refunded both of them.
Because we thought for 24 quid for us to make the slides for this, it's not worth it. Yeah. So then we were like, okay, live webinars are not the one. Coaching one-to-one is not the one. Ebooks are not the one. It must be members area, passive products with group coaching. So we were moving in the right direction, and that's actually still the model that we recommend. The mistake, though, was moving what we did have, which was on something called Optimize Press, terrible piece of software, would not recommend, over to, oh God, we got a freelancer called Furkanul. Nice guy. We paid him for putting all of our stuff into Optimize Press and setting up a website. It was a big project, took him 30-40 hours, which for a freelancer really adds up in terms of cost. And at the end, he was like, guys, have you considered ClickFunnels? And I was like, oh no, what's that? And he was like, oh well, it's a members area platform that does your landing pages and payment collection. And I was like, oh my God. Had a look at it, 2-week trial, called Johnny immediately. Johnny, I'm not being funny, you need to go on this website and have a look. And then he had a look and we were like, oh God, this is really good. Actually quite good, isn't it? So moved everything over again to ClickFunnels, but we had our emails and active campaign all synchronized up. And then after a year or so of ClickFunnels, we were like, you know what, we're paying these guys a lot, we're really deep in the system, it's working well, let's move everything into ClickFunnels, including the email automation stuff, which was an upgrade. So it went from $99 a month to $300 a month. And then that's where you move in all of your email automations, and so you have your entire business in ClickFunnels. Did it for a bit, and then very quickly realized, oh, this is really buggy and not fit for purpose. And so after that migration, which I think cost us 1,500 quid.
Yeah, so we paid a guy who got actually quite shirty with us. I don't know whether you remember, because he was...
Freelancers are so sassy.
Yeah, he criticized us for not having like a holistic approach to our automations. But then he built the automations out, and I think the problem was like we were trying to use this all-in-one solution, and it just wasn't built for what we were trying to do. And as you say, it cost us like close to $2,000 all in just to move stuff across. And then we had to email Active Campaign. We were like, we're really sorry, we didn't. Can we come back? And then we had to pay somebody else to move everything back.
And then when we did, that was 20,000 people on the list. GDPR came into play. We deleted our list and started again.
Oh, God.
Built it back up to like, you have to send out a thing saying, hi, can you please re-opt in because of GDPR and stuff.
So I went,
and then,
oh my God, this is, we went to the
GDPR event.
We went to like a proper GDPR conference, 2 of them in fact, in Middlesbrough, which is awful, by the way. Don't ever go to Middlesbrough. And like, I remember asking a lawyer, like a really senior lawyer, look, this is the situation, can you just explain, is that okay or not? She was like, I don't know. I'm like, great, mint. Like, we've come all this way. And at the time, because it was just being brought in, there was all this fear mongering. There was so much stuff on. I was getting like cold outreach by people saying like, I'm a GDPR consultant. I'm going to come in and make sure you guys aren't going to get fined when this comes in. And everyone was really worried about it. Some people did nothing, and some people went extreme. And we didn't delete everything. We deleted a lot of stuff though. It was a very expensive day for us. Horrendous.
It was. We sat through a lot of slideshows, which didn't really tell us much.
Yeah.
Because it was all speculative.
It was.
Oh, so that's just the beginning. We've just scratched the iceberg. Is that the right term?
I think it is, yeah. It's exactly the right term, yeah. The tip of the balloon.
But yeah, but I'm running out of battery, and I've also got to go to yoga. So I think we should pick this up. In the next episode.
We could legitimately do like a series of podcasts, I think, about just these mistakes, because each one of these has like, well, each of these things we're describing is hours and weeks and months of our life trying to get the right answer. Wasted
away.
And it's resulted in is now we can record a podcast about it.
We can also sell you our expertise and our lessons.
Yeah.
And allow you to skip go straight into the fast lane. You're at Disneyland. You don't have to wait in the queue with all the plebs. You can get that premium pass and go straight on the
pink bracelet.
Hullabalooza.
The pink bracelet, and you go straight at the front, straight in the front carriage. But yes, I mean, seriously, like, we are talking like the cost of these mistakes. So we mentioned that there. Move over from ActiveCampaign to ClickFunnels and back again. 3 to 4 grand. Just
and the time as well.
Just that one thing. So like,
it was like our sole focus for, clients suffered, like our health suffered. So even the selection of software, like,
because people think like, I'll be able to pick software, but it's like saying I'll be able to write my own program. When you're actually in the gym, you'll come to do your third set of something. You think, I don't need to do upright rows. You will, won't you? You think, actually, I read that article about upright rows being bad for your shoulder health. I'll not do the upright rows.
Machine in the corner, that looks fun.
Yeah,
I'll go and give that a try for a bit.
Or you're 3 weeks in and you think, but I could. But if you've seen there's a new program that coach has released, I could maybe try that one. That's ClickFunnels. That's moving everything over to ClickFunnels without knowing. And like, you're on your own. You've got to make these decisions by yourself. And before you know it, you're 3 grand in, and you have to cry yourself to sleep. So that really, like, propane business is a bargain, and we can say that. It's easy for us to say that because we know what goes into it, but people just don't realize like how easy it is to just absolutely have yourself in this world. So easy.
You sat there doing those twisty bicep curls on an incline, looking at the cables and going, should I be doing it with the cables, or should I be doing occlusion training? I don't know.
No one knows. Well, we know the answer because we've tried all of it. We'll continue next time.
Speak to you soon.
Bye.